No. Oh no! Alright, is your auto included?
Yes, now it is.
Okay, so everybody should hear me and then you.
And
Okay,
then you and then me.
so. Yeah, and then Han is literally strangling himself in my wire.
What
Okay,
an idiot.
so I'm gonna start this off by asking you a question. What game in most recent years, or like the past year, has sucked for you, or do you think it sucks? Besides Call of Duty, because I understand your hatred and feelings towards Call of Duty, and I think the best way I can put it is that Call of Duty just sucks every year. It's just different levels of suckage that happened every year. I legit think that this most recent Call of Duty sucks less than the one before it, but it still sucks, which is why we're playing Battlefield. So
It just sucks for different reasons every time, but it still has the same rancid stench as the previous game.
yeah,
But
yeah, I
if
think most people, I think half the population would probably agree with you. I feel like there's some toxic idiots out there that'll probably be like, "Oh, you don't like Call of Duty because you're a girl." No, we play Battlefield together like on a daily basis, so it's like it's hard to justify like you hating Call of Duty because you're a girl. Girls play Call of Duty, girls play Battlefield, girls play Halo, and Halo was the game that we started you on, and now we're here. So
yeah, and I will say that I don't think Halo sucks. I think it needs work. Um,
yeah,
I think people were kind of impatient with that because it literally came out, I don't know, a couple months before people started complaining about everything that was about the game. And especially
yeah,
since they had come out with this, open world type thing, and, the multiplayer was completely different. Well, not completely different, but it was more codified than people were used to.
hmm and or simplified is another way we
Simplified,
could put it.
yeah. And it's not that, I think Halo creators are slacking off. It's that I think the pandemic kind of limited their resources when it comes to creating the game. So,
Yeah,
and I think that's with a lot of games recently, especially like Battlefield or anything like that, except Battlefield didn't suck. It just needed a few adjustments here and there, and they are rectifying some things here and there.
yeah, and that's the one thing, especially Battlefield. I think Battlefield was probably one of the worst cases when it came out last November in 2021. Everybody was super hyped for it. I know I was. I pre-ordered it. People spent $120 on this game for some reason. But when it came out, it was plagued with bugs, glitches, and a lot of missing features and stuff like that. And then now a year later, it's kind of more towards what Battlefield should be in the eyes of a lot of people. Not until January when they release this class system that they have coming back out now. But I feel like Battlefield 2042 was a case of too many new ideas mashed into one game. Therefore, they couldn't really work out what made the game great in the beginning.
Yeah.
They just kind of wanted to. They didn't have enough development time to actually like perfect the game. They just put a lot of cool, fresh ideas into it, and when people jumped into it, they were like, "What the hell is any of this? This doesn't work." So on Call of Duty,
Yeah.
on the other hand, like I said, it's just different levels of suckage every year, but it's the same formula, it's the same recipe, and overall the same game. So it's like, obviously that sells, but I don't think, especially new games nowadays, I don't think it's worth the $70 price point. That's what I was telling my dad too, because he wanted to try Battlefield, and I'm like, you could buy it for like $10, $20, whatever it's on sale for right now, but
Right.
considering the fact that it doesn't have a campaign, I think kind of sours the $70 price point. But I mean, I paid the
Yeah.
full price for it, and I'm having a good old time, so it doesn't really
But
matter to me.
honestly, I'd rather play this game without the campaign than Halo with the campaign, if that makes sense. Because
Yeah,
I mean, even though the campaign for the new Halo Infinite is good, and it is in fact great, I like it. It brings back a lot of the elements that Halo 2 had, and even some of the uh, previous games like Halo 4, but I think there's a huge disconnect between Halo 5 and Halo Infinite, because Halo 5 was, this game where, you could see aliens pretty much everywhere, and it was creative on that level. The maps actually felt alien. I feel like Halo Infinite doesn't have that element of creativeness in it because the maps just feel futuristic, not exactly alien. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, that makes perfect sense, especially because Halo especially went through development turmoil because the contract workers and, not the contract workers stayed for like 12 to 18 months at a time
Mhm.
developing different parts of the game each time. So it's like when you have that many contract workers working on a big game like this, there becomes too many ideas and too many like different things and different people working on it at the same time, and then it barrels down into, I think they had to like scrap it halfway through and completely restart, and then like a year before it was supposed to release, they had to pretty much start from scratch again,
Mhm.
especially trying to get it to work on the newer consoles. And I've seen a lot of PC games especially not do so good. Cyberpunk was a different story. I know Cyberpunk had probably the worst launch in most recent years, but now like a year and a half later, it's good again. It feels better, it plays better, it looks better, and now they have an expansion pack coming in. Halo still has some time to get there, but I think Battlefield is also inching closer to where it needs to be. But
Yeah.
people are upset because the whole live service thing kind of puts a band-aid on the shitty development time for most of these games. So it's like, oh, we don't have this feature, but we'll add it for free later down the road, and
Right.
gamers are becoming, especially PC gamers, are becoming extremely impatient and like, when is this going to be fixed? When is this going to be added? Why is this not in the beginning of the game? But it's like the shitty reality is that these big game publishers like EA, like Activision, and like 343 Industries have to meet a quota by the end of the
Mhm.
year or a certain time of the year in order to make a profit. Whether the game is shitty or not, they have to make that profit. So
Yeah,
that's where the
and
marketing team steps in and makes all the commercials and the ads and stuff like that for the game. The marketing for the Battlefield was fucking nuts. I
yeah,
swear to
and
God, they like made like movie trailers out of this game, and then when it came out, it was just it was like PS3 potato graphics and all this shit.
definitely.
But I've been playing since the beta, and I've been having a so well time. But there was a point in time that I stopped playing it for a month because it's just kind of got repetitive. And then a
Mhm.
month later, they were like, "Oh yeah, big update just came out."
Yeah.
And that's what I think the Battlefield team is doing great. Is like every month is something new that brings you
Yeah.
back to the game, which is great.
But they actually have the resources for that. And I think something important that people need to remember is that these game companies aren't catering to the nostalgic crowd. They're trying to get new customers. So
Yeah,
when they're creating a game like Halo Infinite or Battlefield 2042, they're not trying to repeat what has already happened, because what already happened doesn't appeal to the old crowd and it won't appeal to the new crowd either. But yet people still complain about that because it's like, oh, how come Battlefield 2042 doesn't have, a browser for, the servers or anything like that? And it's like, well, maybe that doesn't work for the new generation. And so for me, it's like, as someone who really just recently started playing this level of game, I don't understand why people have such a hard time enjoying it, because for me, I enjoy playing Battlefield and Halo Infinite, and even though it's not exactly like previous games, I still have fun with it, but that might just be because I'm objective to it. I don't have that bias of previous games lingering in the back of my mind. And
yeah, and that's how it was with Halo 4 for me. Anyways,
yeah,
continue.
and then, Call of Duty, I think, is the only game that has continued to cater to the same crowd for a decade almost. And it's
More even.
more than that. I don't know when it came out, but they've made practically the same game every year, and I think that's why I don't like it, because they don't cater to the new crowd of people that are trying to get out there and game. And I know that there's
Right.
probably a lot of serious gamers out there that will hear this and be like, oh, well, who the fuck is this bitch? But you gotta understand, I grew up playing, Wii Sports and that kind of thing, Lego Harry Potter,
Yeah.
and,
The game that we got was the game that we played for fucking years on end.
yes.
And it, back then there was no updates, there was no battle pass, there was no seasonal content or anything like that.
Yes.
I remember playing Call of Duty and you had to pay $15 every 3 months to get 4 new maps, new weapons, and all this shit. That was the seasonal thing, but it was a purchasable thing. Everything now is microtransactions, everything's like a live service, free content. Hell, the new Skate game is supposed to be free to play, and it's supposed to be live service. And then, even actually, now that I think about it, before I actually go on to a different thought, but yeah, I mean, Wii Sports, Mario Kart, all this shit. I played all the old Need for Speeds, fucking Need for Speed Underground. I'm gonna get assassinated to say this, but Need for Speed Underground was a shitty game. It played horribly. The graphics were decent at the time, but
And the music wasn't bad.
Music is 50-50, and I think it still is to this day. And I
Yeah.
think music in any game is subjective.
Yeah,
But nowadays, I feel
definitely.
like a bunch of single-player games are better than any multiplayer game. Like, I've heard a lot of good things about A Plague Tale. Everybody is
Oh,
hyped
yeah.
for High on Life right now. The Last of Us is doing great, despite one of the voice actors getting death threats because people took the game a little bit too seriously.
Yeah.
Games like that, it's like they do really good because they spend years and years and years on end producing a story to this game. But when you have something like Call of Duty, or honestly sometimes Halo, and games like Battlefield that mainly prioritize the multiplayer, I wish there was maybe an extra 6 months to a year with development time so they can actually develop a story for these games.
At
Which
the
is what I'm
same
excited for in the Battlefield universe.
At the same time, though, there are some single-player games that I wish were multiplayer because they're so good. Like Life
Yeah.
is Strange, for example. That was a good one that I played. The newest one. I forget the title of it, but
True Colors.
True Colors. That's right. It was such a good game, and it was like mystery based. And I'm kind of like I have a soft spot for that because I grew up playing, Nancy Drew on my DS or something like that. But it's a game that I would love to, hop online and play with my mom or, Brandon even. And, some other games too, like Requiem, which I totally recommend the Plague Tale games because they are interesting and scary, but to a level that is not gonna like leave you shaking in your sheets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the
I've heard a lot of good things
graphics
about it.
are amazing.
Yeah, the graphics especially. Oh my god, the graphics. I feel like, I don't know. Asobo Entertainment was the people I think that made A Plague Tale, and I correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I think Asobo Entertainment was also the same people that made Microsoft Flight Simulator, so I think the engine might be the same. So in terms of like scenery, colors, graphics, and stuff like that, yeah, they're fucking stellar. And same with Battlefield, same with Halo, and admittedly enough, Call of Duty, despite their color palette being mainly brown and green, the graphics are good, the animations are solid, and everything feels real, and it adds to that immersion. But sometimes, especially in a Call of Duty game, sometimes it gets a little bit too real. Like, Call of Duty, I wouldn't recommend to certain amounts of people because there are some aspects of the game that are too realistic, and it might actually
trigger you.
hurt some people. Yeah, it might actually trigger some people, especially veterans and special ops soldiers that have to deal with shit like that in the real world, which brings up the question of like why Call of Duty would do something like that and sell so much of it, especially to the young crowd that they cater to. And
Well-
I've seen reaction videos of like Spec Ops Marines and Navy SEALs and stuff like that reacting to it, and they give their input. They're like, hey, this is actually an accurate representation of what we have to deal with, but it can only go so far before somebody's like, I need to shut this off because it's triggering me so hard
Yeah.
that I might actually stab somebody.
Yeah, and I think just as a journalist, I've researched this kind of thing, and from what I see, Call of Duty is kind of Americanized, and so it definitely draws the crowd that's pretty gung-ho about how they do things. And
Yeah.
it's not that I'm trying to insult that crowd, because I too have family members that are veterans, and I too have family members that served as Marines and naval officers, and even, close friends that are in the military. And it's not that I want to insult them, because they are doing their job and they are doing a good job. But Call of Duty caters to that crowd specifically because it gives you this sort of nationalistic viewpoint to where, you're always the winning team and you're always the American winning team. Granted, I think Call of Duty has gotten better with including a diverse amount of characters. I mean,
Yeah.
they're definitely getting better about not having like an all-white people team, and not
Yeah, they
just
have-
like sexualized women and that kind of thing. So
Like they have Soap, the Scottish dude, which is like everybody's favorite character, and along with Price, who's British Special Forces, and then things like that. And they have like a one girl that is a main character, like halfway through the story and stuff like that. But
right.
the thing with Call of Duty, and I'm gonna get assassinated for this comment too, is that every single Call of Duty sucks except for Advanced Warfare through Infinite Warfare. That era with the jetpacks and the spacesuits and going to outer space and having exosuits and jump packs and all that stuff, I thought that was fucking awesome because it was actually pushing the boundary of imagination that the people who made Call of Duty could do. And the shitty thing about it too is that like Call of Duty was the same for almost 10 years at the time, and then people were like, we need something different. Call of Duty feels the same every year. They did something different and it pissed off the entire community. So it's like, you guys gotta make up your mind. What do you want? Do you want jetpacks or do you want old school Call of Duty?
Right.
So those few years kind of buried the hatchet that like, okay, we need to stick to our regular formula. And what do? They make another World War II game. Great. So yeah, that's like, I thought Modern Warfare was fucking great, but again, the storyline aspect of it was like, do they actually do this shit? Like going to catering to the people who actually deal with this stuff on a daily basis, like the military, special ops forces, soldiers and shit like that. It kind of numbs the idea that, hey, maybe you don't have to second guess yourself when you're shooting an entire family that you don't know,
Right.
or to like maybe harming innocent children and their families or stuff like that. Or let's go back to Modern Warfare 3 back in like 2013 or no, way earlier. I think it was 2011, where you just play as Russian fucking covert ops dudes and you team up with a couple of your buddies and just shoot an entire airport terminal. Nobody, we didn't think twice when we were kids about that shit, but now looking back on it 10 years later, we're like, holy fuck, we actually did that.
It's kind
Because
of
Call of
messed
Duty
up.
Call of Duty doesn't push that level anymore, but when it did, it legit got banned in several countries because of that one fucking level. They had to take that level out in different regions of the world because it was so goddamn sensitive. And yeah, sure, you can say that everyone nowadays is a fucking snowflake, but this was like 10, 12 years ago that this happened, and we shot up an airport terminal and we were like, holy shit, this is the best mission in the game. And now that we have kids or are all grown up and living on our own now, we we look back to those games and we're like, we actually fucking shot up a whole entire airport terminal and didn't think twice about it. So that's why I'm like, Call of Duty has done better in that aspect where it's like, okay, it's not that intense, but there are some levels where it's like I remember Modern Warfare in 2019 had a level where you have to play as the Arab kid growing up and seeing their whole family being liberated by terrorist forces and stuff like that. And it was fucking scary to play that whole level because you're literally in the perspective of a fucking child, and you have to, take your first blood. And that, right now it doesn't sit with you, but for God knows how many people that may have to deal with that overseas, it's like, holy shit, dude. Yeah, that's a little much.
And I'm sure there's refugees that escaped that kind of life to come here and, try and find a better life for themselves. And they see shit like that and they're like, okay, maybe I don't want to live here anymore because that's just like insulting to my entire existence,
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm trying to assume what people are thinking out there, but it's like if I went through something like that and then came somewhere else and found out that it was entertainment for a whole different race of people.
Oh yeah, for a bunch of middle schoolers and high schoolers, this is the shit that they, entertain themselves with on a daily basis. It's like, what the hell? And I would be pissed, and I would be scared to live if that kind of, and especially, like, oh, my country is berated, completely crowded with terrorist groups and mass genocide. Let me move to America, and they find the same thing but in different colors.
Yep.
What? This is not the topic that we're talking about before we get too political and start ranting about shit.
Back to games. I think every game is good in its own right, but all of them have at least one aspect that I hate. Like, I talked a big game about Battlefield, but one thing I don't like is the fact that people try way too hard on it. I mean, way too hard. Yeah. And it's not that I'm not trying to be one of those people who's like, oh, I can't get kills, and therefore I have to complain about the people that are getting kills. No.
No, Michaela gets quad feeds on, like, a daily basis.
I try
she blows up all the fucking things.
But it's like, I'll be coming around the corner and, I'll shoot first, and then someone shoots me, like, once and I'm dead. And I just,
with their
like...
With their RTX 4090 gaming computers and their fucking RGB lighting and all this shit, they have to sweat for the $100 game that they bought because, they don't want the money to go to waste. It's like,
and then
I get it. I was like that in Uncharted 3, but at the end of the day, it's just a game you can just stop and you can play again tomorrow. Like, holy shit, just because you're live streaming does not mean you have to impress the one woman that's watching your shit.
Right.
Because that one woman is probably your mom. Sorry. Anyways, continue, Michaela.
And then, the camping has to stop, guys. It's so annoying. I'm like, I try to move around a lot when I'm playing because I know that it's probably annoying to other people if I camp, So it's like, get out of the corner, get off of the freaking wall in the middle of the freaking Battlefield map, get off of, trees, get out of the freaking vehicle. That's what makes me mad too. Is some of you guys out there just sit in your freaking helicopters the whole game and don't use any skill to try and get on the ground and, actually get some kills.
Yeah.
And rant, but...
and rant, yeah. I still remember that, like, the launch day of Battlefield was a fucking nightmare because you had, first of all, crossplay is enabled by default. You could turn it off, but I don't. I'm a brave man. And the slide movement in this game was nuts because they have the Apex Legends team working on this game from the beginning, and the slide was like, you slide and it doubles your speed and you move like fucking 3 yards every time you slide. That was like the first update that they had to make, was changing the slide, movement because it was just too intense. People were sliding around a corner and like getting quad feeds just by sliding.
It was like slipping on a banana peel.
Yeah,
just,
but
like...
also it also changes like your depth of field and widens your field of view. So anytime I slid, I was like, oh god,
Yeah.
So
And then the other thing too is something I wish that had carried over into the newest Battlefield is the sniping. Because in Battlefield 1, I feel like it's a lot better to snipe on that game, and you have more customizable options with your sniper rifle. But
yeah,
in
weird how it
Battlefield,
does that.
I can barely get like maybe a couple of headshots with the sniper, and it's like I have to try really hard, and the viewfinder isn't big enough to even see across the map. So, but in Battlefield 1, you can get pretty much as close to their eyeball and see the whites of their eyes practically. So, I'm
Right.
like, I wish that had carried over.
The
Other
one
than
game
that,
that
sorry,
what's up?
what?
Oh no, you go first. You go first.
Other than that, I think Battlefield is a good series of games, and they definitely take their time on it, and you can see it in the graphics and in the gameplay, and you
Yeah.
can actually earn things. That's what I miss about old games like Mario Kart and that kind of stuff, is you could actually earn things. You didn't have to buy them. You just played the game and you earned it by playing the game. So I
Yeah.
think that's what I like most about Battlefield is you earn stuff.
Right. One game, and I'm gonna get assassinated for this too, but one game I think doesn't suck, Need for Speed Unbound, because that was pure radio silence for like 2.5 years. They showed off some like concepts, like photos, like rendering photos of what they have, like graphics wise, and what they're building with the in-game engine that they have, which is shared with Battlefield and the new Dead Space. They showed that off like 3 years ago, and they said nothing about it. They switched developers from Ghost Games to Criterion, which, in case you guys don't know, Criterion made the entire Burnout series and also formed my childhood and shaped my music preference to alternative rock and death metal. But they also made Most Wanted 2012, and then Ghost Games happened, and they practically rebooted the Need for Speed series, and then now Need for Speed is here, and it's the one game I noticed in most recent years that does not have a day one patch, and I've been playing it pretty okay. I haven't had any problems. I haven't heard anyone complain about any problems with the games and stuff like that, other than they don't like the anime characters and the weird graffiti graphics, and they also don't like the TikTok music, and they also don't like the whole TikTok influence behind the game. I will admit, the characters, just looking at the characters' faces in the customization menu, make me barf my mouth because they're all like, "Sheesh, this Sylvia is gonna be sick, bro. It's gonna be all sick. It's gonna be super clean when I get these rims on it." Full. Anyways,
On
sorry, we're
God,
New
no
Mexicans,
cap,
so
all
for
that
real,
shit.
for real,
For real,
bro,
for
dead
real.
ass B. Yeah, did you see Chelsea last night, bro? Fattest knockers down. Anyways.
But no, but
No,
for
but
real though, like you should see these characters. They look like high schoolers, and it's
they
terrifying.
look hideous. They all look like TikTok celebrities, and it makes me barf
Yes.
in my mouth. But you don't see them while you're driving most of the time.
Yeah,
It's pretty
that's the
okay.
good part.
But like the end of round, or not the end of round. I'm thinking of fucking Fortnite or some shit like that. The post race like taunts or something like that, or like the gestures, like you can a dab or something like that.
Oh
You can
yeah,
like flex on them, like wipe it off your
cringe.
shoulders. And I was like, okay, whoever made this game or made the taunts need to hop off TikTok for a few years, because I'm like. Granted, Need for Speed Underground wasn't so different because, like, you picked the Dodge Neon. No matter what car you picked at the beginning of Need for Speed Underground, it was just this chick saying, like, wow, that's super weak, dude. And you're like, oh, okay.
You just reminded me of a game that I do think sucks through and through.
What?
That is Forza Horizon.
Oh my
Um,
god. I mean, okay. You go first. You
Hear
go
me
first.
out. I mean, the cars are cool, but other than
There's
that,
a lot of cars.
it's not that great. Because the sounds of the cars sound nothing like what the actual cars sound like in real life.
Yep, and
B,
don't tell me that they don't use the same sound clip from BMW M2 to Toyota Supra because it's a
yeah,
similar engine.
it
It's
is.
literally the same sound clip. You can fucking hear it, and I will probably edit it in this footage here.
Yeah.
But if you played Forza Horizon 5, which, yeah, I've called it Fortnite Horizon 5 because it's too vibrant, it's too colorful, it's too cartoony, and
Yeah.
it's...
And you have freaking weird accents everywhere. And
Oh
I
my
mean,
god, there's a Australian dude, there's a British lady, and there's a Mexican dude named fucking I don't know, Ronaldo or something like that. Starts with an R. Sorry, I'm butchering all these names, but as a Puerto Rican, I fear for the Mexican population that plays that games because I feel like it butchers their entire culture.
It
The
does.
artsy fartsy stuff and like the accuracy of the towns and I guess the architecture that surrounds Mexico is super accurate and super
Oh, yeah.
cool. I will give it at that. But like the people within the game annoy the shit out of me because it's like always some lady that's like, "Hola, Brandon. Do you want to help Hector cone his VW Hocho?"
Yeah.
Stop.
They
Get
have
the
this
language.
weird Spanglish thing, and no offense to people that do the Spanglish thing, but it's like whitewashed Spanglish, if that makes
I
sense.
do the Spanglish. I
And-
worked with someone that was whitewashed Spanglish. Trust me, I know. He would come in every morning with Starbucks and McDonald's and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And then he's
But-
always talking about like, hell yeah, brother, I cooked this mean brisket other night. I'm like, you should try enchiladas or like a burrito or something like that. Not to be racist or anything. Again, I will reinstate. I am Puerto Rican. I have empanadas. I swam here on a door. I don't know if I'm still legal yet, but no, Puerto Ricans are stubborn, man, and they hate. As far as I know, they hate like literally any other race besides their own. I think they actually hate their own too. So it's like
Yeah.
I haven't visited Puerto Rico in recent years, but that's how it is. But yeah, Forza Horizon 5 is very cringe.
But that's not
when it
why
comes
it
to-
sucks for me, though. Because you go through the motions and you do the game, but it gets so repetitive and it's taunting, too, because you just have this laundry list of things to do.
Oh
And
my god, yeah.
at some point, it's like, okay, when is this over? Because there's just so many tasks, and that might be kind of cool for some people, but it's a bit much for me. Because
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
think they need to slow down with the seasonal shit because yes, they have seasons in that game, but not like a seasonal battle pass like Call of Duty or Fortnite. But it's like fall you have different events, winter you have different events. There's snow, there's rain, there's dry weather, there's sandstorms and stuff like that. The weather system is cool, but it's like every time I load into that godforsaken game, it's something different, and it's a laundry list and it's a chore list of things I have to do just to unlock a one cool car that I could probably just buy out of my own pocket, which is another thing that adds to the flame that is Fortnite Horizon 5, which is like, oh, we have this plethora of new cars that we've released in this update. It's like 10 to 20 cars that they release per update.
And
Half
they're
of
like-
them you have to pay like $15 for,
yeah.
just to
and-
get a set of them.
Some of them are not that great either, and like, I wish there was more variety, and I know there's like a lot of cars you can get in that game. Don't hate me.
I want a
but-
BART back into Forza first of all, and
Yes.
I want whatchamahoots. There's a lot of good cars out there, but I want
There
like
are.
old BMWs, not just like the BMWs that everybody knows, like every single M3 known to man. No, I want an old 6 Series, old base Model 5 Series. I want a 2002 in there. I want, what's another car? They have the DB5, obviously.
I want
But
a
where's the DB7?
Vantage. I
Yeah,
want
where's
the
the-
Vantage,
the-
man. I want
Well,
all
they have
of the
the
Aston
they have the
Martins.
they have the old Vantage and they have the new Vantage, and I think they have the new-ish Vantage from like 2012, 2013. But I want the DB7. I want
Yeah.
the Vanquish of all things. I want the what is it? I don't know. I want I want a BMW Z3, a Z1 even. I want what the hell? What's another car that's like very obviously missing from
Well, I
Forza?
think
The
Forza
new
could.
Golf R, the new Civic Type R, the GR Corolla. Honestly, those cars just came out, but it's like hell, you could copy and paste a sound file for the exhaust and the engine
Yeah,
and stuff like that, and just model the car in game. You
I
already have a
think.
few Toyotas. You can just ask for the licensing. I don't know. I'm just a loop tech, so it's like I don't know how to code these games. I don't know how to ask permission to use some fucking Prius in this racing game. You know?
I think that
Stop it.
Forza needs to have cars that are accurate to the area that they're making the game about. If
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense. So like this
What?
one's in Mexico, right? I need to see like lowriders and, beat up fucking Honda Civics and like, chrome rimmed shit that you don't want to see and it's like an eyesore, but they're cool because they're
Yeah, let me
customized.
donk my Buick. Like, what the hell?
And hot rods and that kind of stuff because that's
They
accurate
have a
to the
hand.
territory.
They have a handful of classics, but it's like the thing is they don't let you embrace it.
Mhm.
You have all these classic cars. You have the Impala, you have the Bel Air, you have the Camaro, you have the Novas, you have the Ford Fairlanes, stuff like that. They don't have. I don't know. They don't even have the Fairlane. They have the Falcon, which is an Australian car for some reason.
um,
But
the only reason
like
I
the
could think that they don't have some cars is copyright issues.
licensing, yeah, you have to
Licensing.
like contact the manufacturer and be like, hey, can we use your car in a racing game? And they'll be like, what kind of racing is it? Especially Toyota, they don't like
Mhm.
putting their cars into games like Need for Speed because it promotes reckless, street racing and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, boo hoo,
Then you get
whatever.
other game or other companies like Ferrari. They're like, "Fuck it, hey, put it in." All
Yeah,
of
they're
them.
like put every single fucking Ferrari, every Porsche and stuff like that. Granted, there are several Ferraris missing, several Porsches missing, and stuff like that. And it's just out of for having 400 plus cars, it's a big talk, but it's like that's like having a playlist of music that you listen to every day, and there's only like 10 to 20 songs that you really like out of that playlist.
Right.
When you have 400 plus cars, that first of all, most of them carried over from the previous 5 games that you made, but you add some new. We want to go for those new ones
Mhm.
first before, going for the old ones next, because the old ones we've probably already used before and are tired of. I'm excited for the new Forza Motorsport that's coming out this next March. I hope that's going to
Mm,
be good. But if
I
it's going to
doubt
be
it.
some bullshit that's like I still think, yeah, I doubt it too because after playing Gran Turismo, my whole life has changed.
Yeah, that's a good game, and they've got this level of class in that game that I don't think any other game has successfully achieved. It's hard to explain. You just gotta go watch the gameplay of that because it's like
Yeah, yeah.
it, it's
And
it's
that's how Gran Turismo has always been too. I remember playing Gran Turismo on my PS2, and that was the last time I played Gran Turismo. Every single fucking pathetic year of my life since then has had this gaping hole that can only be filled by Gran Turismo. And playing Gran Turismo 7 for the first time on my dad's PS5 of all things. I was like, oh my god, this is exactly what I needed. I had to literally uninstall Forza Horizon 5 until Need for Speed comes out because it's like I don't want to play any other game other than Need for Speed and Gran Turismo. But
yeah. I am excited for Goat Simulator 3.
oh
um,
yeah, that just came out. That's one of those games that I think bugs are acceptable.
yeah, because it's like you expect it at that point. But I just
Yeah.
live for games that are that ridiculous.
That's stupid. Like we just started playing Totally Reliable Delivery Service. Maybe we'll make some footage on that, but so far the like half an hour that we played was absolutely bonkers. It was just
Hmm.
stupid.
And it's the kind of stupid that you have fun with, and it's not like you need to be this experienced gamer to play it, because you
Yeah.
can figure it out quickly. But it's fun to play with friends, and that's the other thing too is you can play shit like that with your friends. And you know, there's some other games like that that frankly could be multiplayer but aren't. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to Hogwarts Legacy, but unfortunately it's single player, and that's a game I would totally want to be multiplayer.
Yeah. Which goes on to my next question. What games do we I feel like 2023 is going to be a better year for games, so it's like, what games are we excited for and going into 2023? Let's see. Dead Space.
Dead
I already
Space.
pre-ordered. I am so hyped for it, and I know you're excited for Hogwarts Legacy and stuff like that. So Hogwarts Legacy shows a lot of promise, and it looks like it's going to be a really good, really in-depth game, I would say.
Yeah, it looks like it. And
property is being defiled. Our most secret weapon
I
systems
think,
are being looted.
weren't you saying to
This
me
is an
that the
emergency.
top game
Naval
this
infantry
year
will deploy
was
immediately, and with them you must
Elden
prevent the
Ring?
Americans from establishing a presence.
Yeah, the game of the
Resettled
year
will not
for
come.
2022 was
so
Elden Ring, which
Hogwarts
shows every.
is going to be kind of like Elden Ring. I mean, it's not going to be exactly like it, but it's pretty
It's gonna
damn
be your
close.
Elden Ring. It's gonna be your Elden Ring.
Yeah.
Because Elden Ring is very Skyrim, very Dark Souls, and stuff like that. So it caters to that crowd of people. But for the try-hard nerds like you and a bunch of Star Wars geeks and stuff like that, people that grew up with what the hell, Harry Potter. Yeah, they're gonna be all over that fucking game because
Definitely.
it's Hogwarts Legacy. It's a role-playing game. You can do whatever you want. You can torture your classmates with dark magic. And I'm in a tank for some reason. But
Why? Well, see, that's what you're reminding me of. Is I want a game that's like Lord of the Rings style, but Elden Ring like level. You know what I mean?
yeah, that would be nuts.
I think that would be crazy, and I think all of the Lord of the Rings fans would come out of the woodwork to play that because, you know, that's like something that I've been waiting for like my whole life. That's what I need.
Yeah, that'll be super sick. And I don't even like Lord of the Rings that much, but having a game of Elden Ring scale with Lord of the Rings behind it, it sounds fucking phenomenal.
Oh my god. Someone's already in a helicopter. I swear, I'm so tired of it.
Anyways,
Some other games. I was hoping that what's the animal one that we've been waiting for like ever?
oh my god, Party Animals. That's also supposed to release early 2023. And that's another game that I've been really hyped for no apparent reason. It just
Yeah.
looks stupid fun
It does look
and stupid in general. So it's like, I really want to play that because I think that'll be fun to play with all of our friends and you especially. All the crackhead moments that we have.
Where are they at?
I pinged one guy in a crate. He's chilling there. He just hopped out.
Got him.
Okay, we got Party Animals, we got Hogwarts Legacy, we got a tank coming in.
Oh,
Get him, fuck him up.
I didn't get him.
Oh, somebody got him. Spider-Man 2 is another game that's coming out next year that people are hyped for, but I can't relate because I don't have a PS5 or a good gaming PC.
Yeah, definitely. Something else that is not a game that I want, but I would like it if they came out with a new Wii console. Not the Switch. I don't mind the Switch, but it's like I would like another console that's on the same level as an Xbox or a PlayStation. Because Nintendo, when they get on stuff like that, they come out with some pretty cool stuff.
The Japanese are just crazy, man.
Not all of
Beginning
them.
siege on Charlie 1.
I would say Germans are crazier, but you don't see that. If a German made a Wii, it would literally cause chaos.
180 degrees, 110 meters away.
This is hovercraft going.
There's a tank over here.
Thank you.
Now,
I need help over here.
I feel like 2023 is gonna be a good year for
Shit.
literally anything. Oh, you almost had it. I feel like movie quality is gonna be better. We actually just started watching Wednesday. If you
It's
guys
pretty good.
have watched Wednesday, first of all, don't spoil it in the comments. If you spoil it, I'll
Enemy
actually
vehicle
find
located.
your house and raid it. But
Yeah. It's
Wednesday's
pretty
been pretty
good.
good so far.
Yeah. I would say it's very Tim Burton and it's very Danny Elfman.
I just want Johnny Depp in it. If Johnny Depp is in it, or if they come out with the second season with Johnny Depp in it, I will enjoy that.
But it's
just
like
love
the
Johnny Depp,
perfect duo that we all needed. Danny Elfman and
Go!
Yehu. What the fuck? I just said his name.
Danny Elfman,
No.
Annie Delphine,
No.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, yes. The two of them making a movie together is the
I think
best.
you said Tim Burton twice. Or are you talking about Johnny Depp and Tim Burton?
No, I'm talking about Tim Burton and Danny Elfman.
Okay, just clear.
Okay. This is what I have to
Vehicle
deal
located.
with, people.
30 degrees.
Just
Too
kidding.
far.
Sorry, I got milkshake brain today.
Milkshake brain. There's a tank right there. Run! Oh my gosh. I'm alive.
Shit. Come here, boy. Come here, boy. Oh,
Enemy soldier marked. West.
nice. Ow.
He hopped
I
out.
don't know some other games that are coming out in 2023 that I'm kind of excited for.
Grenade for
I
it.
don't really know. Dead Space for sure.
I got snaked. Yeah, I don't see a huge list, but there are some good ones that I'm looking forward
just
to.
really Hogwarts and Dead Space and Spider-Man.
Party animals.
Party Animals. I keep forgetting Party Animals. Party Animals is like the most important one.
Yes.
They ouch.
I don't know. Something that I wish that I had more of in a game is just like feminine power.
Yeah. If I think a Wonder Woman game would be interesting, but it depends on who it's made by.
Yeah.
Grenade out.
And I don't want sexualized women, people. I mean, it's just not. It's
I mean,
not.
sex sells, but it's not.
We have secured
It
objective
doesn't add
Delta 1.
to. It's not necessary.
No,
Now
it's
control
not.
all of Delta sector.
Jeez.
Coming from a man that played Mortal Kombat 9 as a child,
Need a second.
and
Yeah.
I mean a legitimate child. That game came out when I was 11, and they had 2 words: jiggle physics. Don't ask me what that is.
Jizzle
Jizzle
physics.
physics? Jizzle physics is not what I'm talking about. That is a completely different thing. Oh my god.
That was an accident. Jiggle physics. To be fair, though.
I can't get it out of my head now.
To
It's
be.
just gonna be Jizzle physics for the end of time.
To be fair, though.
Guys, comment down below what you think Jizzle physics is.
To be fair, though, the stupid game that we just played, the package delivery or whatever, has
package
Has
delivery? You mean
jiggle
totally
physics.
reliable delivery
no,
service?
totally, totally.
We went from Jizzle physics to package delivery. Where's your head at?
It's up my own ass at this point. But,
Soldier down.
so, what I was trying to say
What the hell?
is totally reliable
Alpha sector
delivery
control for
service
enemy.
has jiggle physics in it too, though. But in like a funny way. I don't know
Oh,
how to
yeah.
explain it.
Yeah, let's
troops
just
are
say
attacking
that all the
Charlie 1.
characters in totally reliable delivery service are voluptuous as hell.
Yeah.
They're literally built like a fucking ham.
There's a sniper on top of the On top of the on D2.
D2, you say?
Yeah.
Oh, on top of that fucking radio tower that they always like to hang out
My
at?
forces
Yes.
have taken battery sector.
Took one down.
Don't lose ass. No, my aim! Oh my god, you don't his ass too. But I mean, going back to Battlefield.
We have a breach at one of them.
Just look at this. Don't look at that, I just died.
Yeah,
Got
what
killed
did
by a
you
lucky
do?
taco.
Lucky Taco? That's what I can be any day of the week, hun. Just kidding.
Alright. Solitary, eclectic, Dr. Diesel. Anybody? Anybody wanna come tase my nuts? Thank you! Anyway, yeah, just look at this. Just look at it. It may not be your style of game. It may not be up, your speed. You may be a Fortnite player, and you may be questioning what the hell I'm doing right now because I forgot how to play this game. But, I mean, like, come on, you can't
Thank you.
beat that.
Yeah,
You can't do that.
it's pretty good graphics up here. I mean,
Yeah, this is a phenomenal game, and it being a year later, they've changed so much.
just look
they've
at the
added so many
fire.
things.
I mean, the fire looks so realistic, dude. Like you have no idea.
Looks
Who the hell's
really great.
sniping? The heck's wrong with you, dude? Get off the building. Stop camping. Stop being a jerk.
Anyways. Oh god.
Jerk.
Yeah, the scale that like this game is at, like, not even Call of Duty can
260 degrees.
compete with
At
it.
200 meters.
And you can't even compare Call of Duty or Halo to Battlefield or vice versa, because there's just so completely different games in their own
Please
regards
come
that it's
revive
like,
me. You're so bad. Oh,
don't die. Stay alive.
I died.
What did I do?
There's a guy sniping on the ground there.
Throwing grenade.
I'm going down.
Okay.
I got a hit marker.
Heading out.
Going
Anyways,
down. I'm
yeah, Call of Duty
yelling
can't
timber.
Enemy soldier
but at the same
there.
time, Battlefield can't compete with Call of Duty in terms of sales, which is a realistic thing. It's all perfect, all user preference.
They have
Some of you
control
may not
of
like
Echo
Battlefield
sector.
because of...
He's laying down. He's laying down on site.
Where?
Never mind. Someone got him. I'm down. I forgot what I was gonna say.
If you haven't already, and I'm not sponsored by EA or anything, but Battlefield 2042 is free to play on PlayStation 5, starting December 16th to the 23rd, I believe. And I highly suggest you guys try it because it's fun, it's ridiculous, and you can
It
have
is
some pretty
fun.
stupid moments.
There's a tank up here.
Yeah, I know, I'm trying to hit it. He's coming back around. Get him.
Got him.
Get him. There you go. Nice.
What were we
Ouch.
talking about?
I don't know.
I
you
don't
say something
remember.
before. I highly recommend Battlefield 2042. And for, I mean, it doesn't say much coming from someone that's been playing Battlefield since only 4. Battlefield 4 was the first Battlefield game that I had. But it's still like, oh my god.
Trap clap killed me.
I'm really scared. This is a lot of bullets. There's a tank right in front of my face.
Yeah.
Enemy tank.
standing
Battlefield
still.
is a good game to start learning on. I don't really like have a hard time playing it. I have a hard time with some of the players because they get so intense. Like I just
Yeah.
went to try and get a kill, but this guy just came up and freaking slit my throat. So you know, that was great.
In game. It's just to verify.
Yeah, if my throat was slit in real life, I don't think I'd be talking right now.
Our squad mate killed Concerned Yeti. The most fun aspect about Battlefield is getting to see all the names that hop onto this game. It is ridiculous. Where did we go?
Hold on, I'm chasing somebody.
This is great!
Oh!
Detecting a
Oh,
breach
wait,
at
no
Bravo
one.
2.
Another one.
Our group
Oh,
has
damn,
secured
come on.
Echo sector.
Come on!
We're dominating.
Fucker.
Maintain position.
He's fast.
Yeah, I can't get him. Oh my god, there's a tank. Ah!
Where? Mark him.
Hold on.
Get his punk out.
Marking enemy tank! 230 degrees! 200 meters away!
I hit him.
Kobe. Oh, I missed it by a hair. Come on.
Anyway. There's some sort of like organized chaos in this game that I enjoy. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. Oh my god, what did I just do there?
Who's in a tank? There's a freaking helicopter right there.
No, I'm trying to get it.
Hold on.
American forces at
Me.
half strength.
There you go, teammate. Up. Oh. Anyways,
Condor.
I guess to end this topic off, we can conclude that there's a lot of factors that go into making a good game, and I think the biggest factor that prevents a good game was COVID, especially in most recent years. And considering that the whole entire world is short-staffed, they kind of can't make anything good these days.
Mm-hmm.
All it takes is a little bit of patience, perseverance.
Get
Dignity.
closer. Closer!
Marking enemy tank!
There's a freaking ranger right there.
Ow! What the hell?
Yeah, COVID definitely threw everyone for a bender. It just makes me mad when people don't consider that maybe, just maybe,
How did that not go? Thank you.
I got him. Just maybe these people are struggling to stay afloat in a pandemic world.
Yeah.
Damage on the
You know,
right!
stop complaining about everything. Stop being a Karen about everything.
Marking enemy tank! 320 degrees!
'Cause-
150 meters!
Get out.
Nope. Surviving.
Oh. He's right here.
Oh my god. I missed!
Yep.
Nope. Unbelievable.
Taken Alpha sector.
Just don't be a dick. I mean, sorry about my language, but just don't be a jerk.
We've already said enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot of the complaints from people, especially about video games, like, oh, this game sucks, you know, it's missing content. It's like, first of all, you gotta be patient. Most of the people that complain about these games complain about it 2 months after the game was released, but don't give it a year to actually let the game get to its full thing, which kind of sucks because, again, we grew up with games. It's like, what you get is what you get. There's no way of updating it. You can only add from here. And if the game sucks, the game sucks. It's what you got from launch. So, but now these games have the ability to just, like I said, it's putting a band-aid over a shit game when it's like, oh, we'll just update it later on. And it sucks because that has to put extra work on the people who developed the game too. And it's like, that's not fair at all. Who's just grenading? Oh, you bastard.
Got him.
We have been pushed off Echo 1.
Let us know in the comments too what you guys think of what we said, and then like what is your opinion for why games suck so much nowadays. And you could straight up say that it's like maybe just shitty development teams, because I get that too.
Incoming!
Hit a tank.
Hostile located. 290 degrees. 250 meters
Troops are
away.
moving to attack Bravo 2.
Got it. Yeah, like, do you think it's COVID? Do you think it's just companies aren't paying people enough to, take care of it? Like, do people just
Or they're
have,
just maybe they're just not giving themselves enough development time either, because the whole thing about crunch culture as well exists,
Yeah.
where people are literally sleeping at work and staying long nights, not even getting to see their family weeks on end because they have to meet this deadline for this game that's
Yep.
still not going to be pristine when it comes out, which is exactly what happened with
Yeah.
Cyberpunk.
And it's
You
called
guys-
Forces have taken
it's
all
called
Echo
burnout.
sector.
People get it when they can't do their job anymore because it's kind of getting repetitive.
Oh my god, dude, move.
I totally get that. I get burnout sometimes as a journalist. Sometimes you're putting out all this content and you're like kind of feeling like it's meaningless because why would you create something that people are just going to crap all over all the time? And it's hard to kind of keep the faith or stuff like that because
Tango mark!
I don't know, it's hard to
Ow.
explain.
I got killed by smelly guacamole.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I'm the same way too, where it's like, my job, I fix people's cars for a living, and we're constantly overbooked, and they keep scheduling us like we can finish all our stuff in one day, and it doesn't make any sense. Granted, I'm confident in my ability to keep my head above water, but sometimes it's too much,
Battle goes
especially
well.
when
When
I've done 2 piston jobs in 1 month.
Troops
It's
have
like,
captured Echo
and
sector.
they keep, telling people like, sure, we can get your oil change done today. It's stuff like that, and everybody deals with it too. No matter if you're a mechanic, if you're a journalist, if you work at Panera Bread or Texas Roadhouse, or Burger King, or Wendy's, or fucking Panda Express, or the movie theaters or something, you're gonna get those days where it's like, dude, why do I have to deal with this?
Helicopter,
I'm
one
like,
of
why
theirs.
did I pick this kind of
300
profession?
meters.
Yeah,
Echo Front is under siege.
and I enjoy my job, but some people, they are just doing something to get by,
Yeah.
and
Or
it's
pay for
important.
college, especially.
Yeah, and I just
One of our
graduated
objectives has been
college,
lost.
and that was like the most exhausting,
God.
couple of years, or 4 years. It was the most exhausting 4 years of my
It felt like a
life.
couple of years. Maybe
Yeah.
because you graduated early, it felt faster, but
Well, yeah,
Still,
I
3.5.
graduated in 3.5
Hostiles have taken
years,
Delta sector.
and I just wanted to get it done, but because I did it that way, I got exhausted quick,
yeah.
Reloading.
and
Target down.
Yeah, it's kind of this. It's the general sense anywhere you go. If you rush something or like push a deadline on somebody that's so passionate and working so hard to complete
70
the
degrees.
objective,
70 meters from my
It's-
position.
rushing them on it is not going to help your case at all, and
exactly.
it's only gonna make their lives very shitty. Like asking
Our
the
enemy is outnumbered.
minimum wage
We're keeping
food worker
control of
why their
all
food is
sectors.
taking so long.
We have superiority
It's
in the
like your
field.
food is gonna come out shitty if you rush them.
They're gonna spit in your
Objective
food.
secure.
Yeah, worst case scenario,
And-
they spit in your food.
Don't
Which is exactly
complain if you literally ask for no croutons and they put croutons on it. I get if you have a gluten thing, say that, and they'll prioritize it.
Need to reload.
But if you just don't want croutons because you don't like them, take them off your salad when you get them on it. It doesn't matter,
Tossing grenade.
okay? Like, it's so stupid when people throw a fit over something as small as croutons. And it's like the same thing with video games. People throw a fit over a small thing, like, oh, the bullet didn't hit the target because the aim assist is sucky. And I'm like, well, you
Just because
just
you've
suck.
played the same game for 10 years does not mean you can tell a game developer that this doesn't work properly. They fucking worked for it. They've tried their best to get it as best as they possibly could. And if it doesn't work correctly, you're probably doing something wrong. And random.
Right.
But that's exactly what happened with Cyberpunk, is that these guys were sleeping underneath their desk. They weren't getting enough time off. They didn't get any time off at all. They were working fucking 90 hours every 2 weeks, or 100 hours every 2 weeks. Just to get this fucking game in development and onto shelves sooner. And even then, it's still spent like 6, 7 years, maybe 8 years in development hell for the longest time. And when it came out, it was riddled with bugs, glitches, all this shit. And it took them a year and a half to actually polish it out. Now people are playing Cyberpunk again like it never happened. So I advise you to do the same thing with games like whether it be Call of Duty, Halo, and Battlefield especially, and anything else. Need for Speed, Forza, fucking Power Wash Simulator. It's gonna get out. It's gonna get better. You just gotta give it time. Because the past couple of years have been fucking hectic for the entire world. So it's like, you gotta just give it a second, and then they'll get to it. So
They're camping their butts off on this staircase where I'm dying. They're just camping.
I
hate
killed
it.
Smelly Guacamole again.
Hold on, let's see what kind of game or what kind of gamer tags we got on here. Gamer username, that's creative. Smelly Guacamole.
Damn it!
All U.S. forces retreating. Victory is ours.
And we won.
And I got 17 kills.
Oh my god!
Jeez.
We
That's
got Icy
never
Hot
happened.
Patch, Bunny Bite.
Honcho Jason. Towhead on our team.
What?
Cancer Toast.
Large Dangling. 20th on the leaderboard.
Oh gosh.
This guy Emmy, Honcho Jason.
Itchy fingers.
Wombat Sasquatch was first on the leaderboard. Second place was 10 cheeks.
Let's spoon, okay?
Wait, what?
Jesus Christ. Let's spoon,
Tense
okay?
cheeks is probably my favorite.
Concerned Yeti.
Anyways,
Oh,
patience
yes.
is the virtue. That's all I gotta say.
Yes. And I used to work in food service before I got my current job in the newspaper. And people would treat me horribly. I mean, horribly. And, I would be polite and
Looks
try
like
my best, but
the
they
wait's
would
over.
still, yell at me and say, F you don't know what you're doing. And I think it's important to remember that just because you're in a hurry doesn't mean that the food workers need to make their day harder to make your day better.
Exactly.
And I know that's probably hard for some people to hear, but it's not all about you, okay? I mean, if you wanted to get to work on time, you should have gotten up earlier. You should have taken a different route. You should have, done all X, Y, Z. It's not the person at the
Preparation.
drive-thru's fault.
Yeah,
It's your
preparation
fault.
is key. Yeah. And for God's sakes, this holiday, stay home.
Yes.
Cook your own damn food. I remember Texas Roadhouse, we had a line of 50 people an hour before we opened up our doors on New Year's Eve. And it was in the middle of a snowstorm as well. We got probably a few inches of snow, I'd say.
Oh,
And granted, a few inches of snow is not much when you live in some place like Connecticut or Washington or even fucking Canada, but when you're in the middle of a desert, a few inches of snow is kind of important.
the state
and
minimum wage is going up.
That's nice. We
Yeah.
should cover that in the family meeting topic, which is a good segment, by the way, or segue, to announce
Segue.
that if you like us conversating about this kind of thing, and other things, if you think we have good conversations and you think you can get along with us, we are starting a family meeting podcast where we just have this little talk show of different topics that we'll be talking about. I still have to transfer our first episode from my GoPro to my phone, but I don't have enough space. So, I'm still figuring that out.
Yeah.
But if you guys do like our conversations,
and we take
like what we have to
suggestions
say,
for topics too.
yeah,
If you have
And-
something that you think is important to talk about, send it in and we'll talk about it. So, yeah.
like, oh, I don't know, why is Honda charging $25,000 for a Honda Civic now? Anyways,
Or why
Um,
the hell does my Fiat 500 Abarth have 24 PSI boost?
even though most people say it peaks at 18 psi, and the needle goes all the way to 24 for some reason.
Yes. And we
Answer that,
almost got
Elon Musk.
there.
Yeah, I got it up to 23 gunning it on the highway. Anyways, if you guys have any suggestions or any topics we want to talk about, and if you do like our conversations or have any opinions you want to share, do leave us a comment, and then like and subscribe if you want to hear more from us and want to see more gameplay, want to see more of our shenanigans, and hear more about our jizzle physics that we've just recently discovered. Please
Jizzle
just like and subscribe.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm like on 0 brain cells at this point. College
Our
really
brains-
took it out of me.
Our brains are literally oozing out of our ears, and
Yeah.
I'm still trying to regain wrinkles from today. I've got like 2 raw chicken breasts in my skull right now.
Smooth brain.
Okay,
Anyway, there's gonna be times where we have conversations that are probably crackhead material, but those are the best conversations, so be prepared for those.
Yeah, especially when we're cracked out of our minds at 2 in the morning doing
Yes.
this shit. Not that we ever do, because I get very, very tired at 9 p.m.
Yes, he does. So do I.
Which
'Cause we're
it's like
adults.
20 minutes away. So once 9 o'clock hits, it's like a werewolf hour. Instead of getting all angry and hairy, though, I get just really really tired and sleepy, and I start slurring my speech, and I act like a drunk toddler. So
Yes. I'm the
Anyways.
type of person that just gets cracked out of my mind when I'm tired. And weird
dude, I got
stuff.
an arm.
Y'all righteous.
Anyways, that's exactly what you're gonna hear. Left brain and right brain here. Anyways, yeah, like and subscribe for more. Blah 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 blah. Patience is a virtue. Da 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 da. Excited for 2023. Let me know what you guys think. What games suck nowadays? Even if it is Battlefield, I know Battlefield sucks, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But the game of the year next year, Dead Space. That's it for me. Hogwarts Legacy is going to be
Hogwarts.
yours for sure.
Yeah.
And we're going to neglect each other's existence. We're going to be no longer engaged for months on end because we're going to be playing Dead Space and Hogwarts Legacy.
I'll
in
become a
separate rooms.
hermit.
Yeah, exactly. You only come out when you need like food or something like that, or like a piece of cheese.
Right.
Anyways, to end this off, I will say, pro tip of the day: you may entertain a woman by giving her a slice of cheese. Just
This
so
is
you guys know.
accurate.
It is accurate. It's worked for
I'm
me.
a
You should
crack
try it
whore
out.
for cheese.
Okay, that's our cue to end it there.